win, Chelsea or Manchester City this weekend?
Chelsea are winning the FA Cup. I made that prediction when Liverpool were in it in the quarterfinals, literally like 4 weeks, 2 months ago. I think Chelsea are winning the FA Cup. Chelsea are going to beat Manchester City this Sunday. Chelsea have Manchester City's number. They just need their players to be a bit more clinical in front of goal, and I think they got this. I think Chelsea currently are the kryptonite to what City does. Despite, all the Chelsea fans, we already know, everyone, watch out, we get it. But Pochettino's, even his training regiment is all about running and pressure and all this, and it's focusing on physicality. Manchester City just played 120 minutes against Real Madrid literally a day ago. Pep was even complaining about it in the press conference, talking about, why is Chelsea playing on a Saturday? They're not in Europe. Why are they playing on a Saturday? So I already think when it comes to Chelsea Football Club, they are going to beat City this Sunday. And I think City looked a bit tired as well towards the end, Let's hope it doesn't go to a penalty shootout because, Arsenal and Real Madrid in the same season. So, yeah, I think Chelsea win the FA Cup, and I think Chelsea beat Manchester City this Saturday, sorry. I think just purely from a physicality perspective, it's on Chelsea's side, and both games that I've watched of Chelsea this season. Also, let's get something in right here, right now. The first game that Chelsea played against City at the Bridge, Rodri was playing as well, so we cannot use that as an excuse. So Rodri was playing, and they put 4 goals past City. So they've shown the ability to do that. It's whether they can hang on defensively or not. That's kind of the only question I'm asking myself. But I do think Chelsea will beat Manchester City. I actually think Chelsea are going to win the cup against your club in the final, Terry. So that's my honest prediction. I just don't see City winning this game. Just from a pure physicality perspective, they're a bit too tired, too knackered after that game. And Chelsea have Manchester City's number. Actually, Pochettino, I think himself has quite a decent record against Pep. Like, he does okay/well compared to the other managers, how they do against Pep. So, yeah, I think Chelsea are kind of low-key City's kryptonite in terms of the way they play football, the way that they can handle them, the press. They're able to press Manchester City, balls in behind, the pace of the likes of Modric and Sterling and Jackson, etc. So, yeah, I think Chelsea have been the better team twice against Man City this season, and I don't think this changes this Saturday.
Look, I think what you said holds a lot of water. Their games between the two of them this year shocked people. Everybody expected City to wipe the floor with them because of where Chelsea have been, and that hasn't happened. There's the extra time and the disappointment. Pepper's kind of thrown it out into the ether around the players are tired. I had to take people off because they were tired. And I find when managers do that, you often get bad results. He spoke on Cole Palmer today that it wasn't a bad thing to let him go. I think that's rattling the cage of the football gods a little bit, because when those kind of comments are made, typically they show up. I really hope you're right, and I really hope that Chelsea do it. And this isn't a disrespect to Chelsea. It's that if Man United... No, it's not disrespectful. It's not disrespectful. I think most people would agree that Man United, if we make the final, have a better chance of beating Chelsea than we do Man City. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, that's fair.
That's my reason for wanting it. If it was Chelsea versus Coventry, I'd want Coventry to win because we'd have a better chance of beating Coventry. And a lot of the times when I think about what I want to happen, it's based on what's best for my football club, as an example. So I really want Chelsea to beat them, and I really hope they do. As long as City don't score an early goal, I think Chelsea will push them right until the end. I'm still slightly siding with Man City. If I'm being honest with you, I hear everything you're saying and what I'm saying. I still think City might nick it 2-1, something along those lines, maybe 2-1 after extra time. But I hope and pray Chelsea knock them out, because I actually don't think many people want to see a Man City-Man United final again, because it will just be dominated by one team. I think the world would quite like to watch a Chelsea United final, because it would just be open, end-to-end, entertaining. And I also think if one of Arsenal, or Man United or Chelsea was to win an FA Cup this season, it would really get under the skin of some Arsenal fans, because it's in how bad we've been. And one of us wins a trophy and they don't. So I think there's multiple layers to it, but I find it really hard still to predict against Man City. So I do hope you're right, though. I do hope that Chelsea... Do you think this could be the semi-final for Cole Palmer? He's had a brilliant season. Do you think this could be the chance for him to nail down that Young Player of the Year award?
Haven't they voted for it already, though?
They may have done. Well, let's just change it there. I'm talking Young Player of the Year as seen by the fans. I think that really matters a lot more. Do you feel like this could be the game to sort of solidify that?
I think, look, if you're asking me who's a better player, Saka or Palmer, I'd say Saka because he qualifies for the Young Player of the Year award. But if you tell me who's had a better season, I have no problem saying Palmer had a better season. I think that's a very fair statement. I don't think there's anything crazy about saying Palmer currently actively is having a better season than Bukayo Saka. I think Pep is absolutely waffling about it was okay to let him go and all this because Cole Palmer factually, forget Saka, has been better than Grealish, has been better than Doku, has been better than anyone playing on the wings for Manchester City. So you could even make the argument that he's probably having a better season possibly than even a Phil Foden, dare I say it. So I think Cole Palmer definitely, it's a wrong move to sell him to Chelsea because he would have made a massive difference to Manchester City this season, specifically given where the City wingers are at. So I think Cole Palmer is having a very good season, but he just needs a little bit of help, a little bit of a running mate, specifically this Saturday. He needs a Jackson. He needs someone like that, next to him to help him out in that game. But I think Chelsea win this game. I really believe it. And I think Cole Palmer will play a massive role, but it cannot be him by himself. That's the one thing I'll say. So it needs to be with a Jackson. It needs to be with a Mudryk, with a Sterling, with someone. Even last time the game at the Etihad, Sterling done, Kyle Walker, who, he's obviously looked at as the best right back in Premier League history. Yet we don't keep the same energy for him as we do certain players, but I'm going to let that go for the sake of the fact that Terry has a time limit on today's stream. So because I can speak about that for 45 minutes, once again, to blame for the Real Madrid goal. But yeah, I think, look.
On Kyle Walker, I don't like the shouts that he's the greatest ever. I don't. I think he's a very good right back. I think he's an excellent right back. But I believe that his recovery pace covers so many of his flaws. So many of his mistakes. I think if Gary Neville or Jamie Carragher had his pace, nobody would. And I'm just using them two as an example, right? If I actually think for City again with pace, what was his name? What was it? The Zabaleta was a better defensive right back. Kyle Walker has just got speed. He's a good defender, very good defender. I'm not taking it away from him, but his speed gets him back into positions that his defensive positioning keeps him caught out on. So it is an attribute. And some people say, well, it's an attribute, so it shouldn't be taken away from him. And I think that is a really fair challenge to the situation. However, I don't think.
Yeah, but you told me the reason Trent gets criticism is because Liverpool fans put him on such a high pedestal. Okay, City fans say Kyle Walker's the greatest right back.
Agree. I just don't think he's the. I don't think he is the greatest. I mean, you just it's. I think using your recovery speed to make up for defensive mispositions. It's not for me. It's not a flex. I don't see it as a flex personally.
Yeah, I don't see it as a flex either. I agree with you.
That's just my opinion. That's just my personal. And I get speed is part of the game, and some people will say, "Well, that's an attribute." So I'm putting him up at the top. When it comes to me nitpicking between the greatest ever, I'm going to go for people that rarely got caught out because if they did, they were in trouble. The level of discipline that goes into that for me makes him better. What I'm not saying, though, for anyone who's getting angry in the comments, is that he's bad or rubbish or trash. Still world-class and top-class and brilliant. So just remember that.
I said at the start of the season when people got really mad, I said Trent is actually better defensively than Kyle Walker. People get mad.
Oh, see, I wouldn't go that far.
No, but here's the thing. Other than recovery pace, if we look at defending, as in like positioning, tackling, all of that stuff, I would actually say Trent is better at those things than Walker is. I think Walker has recovery pace. That's it. Yesterday proved it from an IQ perspective, just from an IQ, straight up IQ perspective. The guy played the Real Madrid players on side, proceeded to tackle the ball like a Flamengo and sit down on his ass unnecessarily, and then Real Madrid scored. And that was their only shot on target. So had they not scored that goal, factually, Madrid would have went through. City would have went through.
I want to ask you about this weekend as well. Arsenal take on Wolves. Will there be an Arsenal bounce back this weekend, in your opinion, or Is it the end of their season? Well, a lot of people are predicting a collapse in April. Anyway, sorry, I just see an interesting bit of news I'm going to tell you about in a minute.